It's like they're selecting someone to go into space. When the best way to select a pilot is very simple. You have 10 pilots in your organization, ring them up and say, guys, we need another 2 pilots. Can you all recommend one person? Someone that you know, someone you think would fit in with us?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way to do it. And they come in for a chat for an hour. They tick the box. The boss picks the best 2 out of the 10, and that's it.
Well, I guess the bottom line these days is the approach, the attitude toward these mental health questions has changed. It doesn't have to be a stigma. It's still not a smooth process if you have to work with the FAA to get some kind of waiver or something like that. But nevertheless, the message is that it's not, you're not condemned. You're not losing your career, your livelihood. So it's better to come forward and figure this out and get well and get back into it, just like you said. And you might know somebody for a long time and still not know exactly what's going on.
That's very true.
So that's why we really depend on the professionals.
Yeah, I mean, there are 2 sides to it. One is preventing this from happening, and the other one is curing it when it does happen. Pilots need to have both systems in place. The airline or the flight department needs to have those systems in place to help these people, to prevent and to cure. And I think that's really, really important because, yes, as you said, a pilot that you may be known for 15, 20 years suddenly has some mental issue that he's not telling anybody about, not even his closest friends or his wife or children or whoever. And they just
I might not be able to detect it. I'm not a trained professional in that area. So yeah, I got to turn to those who are.
Yeah. So anyway, this is an issue which is kind of growing in society in general, but also in the pilot world. So we just need to be mindful that this does exist, and pilots aren't supermen or superwomen. So, this is a problem that's there. Now, let's talk about advanced training, because we talked about accidents and that. So we just talked about prevention of the mental health thing. Well, preventing accidents. And, someone gets qualified, they're commercial pilot, they fly their own Citation CJ4. What can they do as far as advanced training is concerned to keep them sharp?
Well, you mentioned earlier that the corporate world has I think you said 9.2 times more probability of having an accident than the airlines.
And the other stat which just came out is that the fatality of accidents in private aviation compared to commercial aviation is actually 200 times more. Wow. Because the planes are smaller. So obviously a small plane, when it crashes, it's than a bigger plane.
So I guess an obvious question would be, since the airline's record is so good and ours is not as good, what are they doing that's producing those positive results that we should also be doing? What can we do to emulate what they're doing? Well, what do? Well, they have constant training.